Bursting Grand Viper.
Say what?
You can burst at a certain point during Grand Viper to make the burst whiff and punish Soul's recovery.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Mecha
something.
MacGyver said I got the juice and the juice is loose.
I'm, I'm gonna play the intro now.
Doggy said hold up.
Hey everybody, how you doing? It's another exciting episode of Super Desperation Radio. Extra exciting this week because there is no joy in NorCal. Everybody's sad and or really pissed off for various reasons, but I would say for, one unifying reason, which we'll get into later. But
It's because the Giants are trash, the Niners are trash, San Francisco is trash. Viva Oakland.
fuck.
Go Raiders. Go
I
Dodgers.
mean, there's really no way to better start the show than to go right into it, since most people already know. But to give a little bit of context, Absolute Battle was this last weekend in the Dallas area. And NorCal's own Crack Fiend had flown to Texas for no other reason than to play Tommy Guns in a 1-7 at Ultra Street Fighter 4. Because, Chris?
Oh my god. All right, so we spoke about this I think last week, where we had talked about how Tommy Guns had interjected himself into a Facebook conversation happening between basically NorCal. It was just NorCal and a NorCal group, and for some reason he had found his way in and decided to talk some shit, basically, which is perfectly fine. That's kind of how the scene used to work anyway. So nobody's faulting him for that, but Crack Fiend was the one to sort of call him out on that. Say, hey, who the hell are you? You coming in here talking like you're big shit. Nobody's even heard of you. I'll beat the shit out of you in Street Fighter 4. And there was all the ducking and whatnot, and Crack Fiend flew out there to make it happen, and fuck.
Let's point out for a second that he flew out there with the sole intention of playing Tommy Guns.
Right.
He did not even enter the Street Fighter 4 tournament.
True,
Right.
right.
Did not
Absolute
have
Battle.
I don't even think he was in the team tournament.
Yeah, he just had a singular purpose.
Like folks, you can't even the Onion could not write a better article than this, Local man calls out internet troll and loses in the 1-7. I don't think anybody in the world thought that Crack Fiend was going to lose this for any reason, Either because they didn't know the matchup themselves, or maybe because they didn't think that Crack Fiend, assuming he knew the match, would play Balrog against Hakan.
Well, here's the thing. Crack Fiend's from NorCal,
Yeah.
and there's a relatively good Hakan player in NorCal, Chemo.
Yeah.
And it just... it just didn't look like they practiced at all, or Crack practiced at all.
Yeah, that is basically like when Nasser is on the mic telling you what to do in certain situations, like you might have wanted to study a little bit,
Yeah, like what the fuck? Okay, so my knowledge of the game is basically ended at whatever arcade edition was, right? Like I legitimately stopped caring.
Mm-hmm.
Anything I know is cursory for me, like glazing over something Ultra David wrote or asking questions of people that are far more knowledgeable of the game than I am. But I do remember Rog versus Hakan is not good for Rog. I actually assumed that Crack Fiend was going to be using Dudley going into the match, which probably would have been maybe a bit better.
Right. I think that would have been a little bit more not necessarily in his favor, because I don't know that matchup either. But I mean, Dudley at least has more mobility options than Rog does.
And he can mount an offense in different ways. So, like check him for blocking low, have more significant punishes if he actually jumps out of a command throw attempt.
Correct.
Because what was he getting with Rog? Like, he wasn't even hitting jab, 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 sweep. Like, that was the part that was embarrassing. This was sub 2009 level quality play.
Yeah, like he was like just shook. His emotions got the best of him, or like I don't know. Like maybe it was jet lag or some shit. I don't know.
I was actually wondering for a moment if he was so blinded by rage that like his brain just shut off.
He just is like hitting buttons. Like when he started out, like it seemed like that, right? Like he's just throwing out like errant thrust punches, like rushing punches, and I'm like, "What are you doing, Crack? That's like hella unsafe." He just didn't give a damn.
He didn't give a shit. He went fucking, guns a-blazing, and he gets blown out 2 rounds straight in the first match, and you're like, oh, this is painting a dire picture.
He's like, I want to slow this down.
It really felt like Crack went into it, from an outsider perspective, by the way. Crack went into it thinking, this guy is a horrible scrub, I'm just going to mollywop him and walk away.
Right.
And he was wrong on only half of that. That guy is a horrible scrub, but he got hit by everything he did.
Oh,
yeah, like, here's the thing. For everyone else, that guy is clown shoes. But in that match, he might as well have been Daigo with the reads he was doing with Dash Ultras, Wake Up Ultras, Reversal Ultras.
Every type of Ultra hit.
You know what was soul-crushing? The air grabs. Like, the way he just read the jumps on Rog was just like, wow, that just is, like, let go of the stick.
The thing is like, he could have started to try to backdash, and that would have avoided the command throw attempts, and it would have avoided, the air grab. And, at worst, he gets smacked out of a backdash, right?
Right.
But instead, it was just, no, we're going to watch this stupid-ass fucking slip and slide animation ultra over and over again, and we're going to watch him fall prey to the same stupid DDT setup that you could just mash crouch jab or crouch fierce and smack him out of it and avoid it. And it's just like, after the first one hit, I was all right, you have Knuckle Dew in your corner. I'm pretty sure he knows a thing or two about a thing or two. Like, I was just hoping that Knuckle Dew's like, hey, yeah, just mash out of that one, dude. Like, just mash.
Just headbutt, right? Something.
Just fucking don't even headbutt. Just crouch fierce him. Like, mash. Just mash. But no.
Here's the thing, though. Like, everybody respects Crack Fiend's, like, knowledge of the game. We know that, he knows his stuff, I guess, when it comes to matchups he's had experience with. He's very good at iterating that stuff to people. The problem is, though, we often run into this where people who may be able to explain it might be having a harder time executing it, especially in situations where they just are not used to executing at that particular interval. So I think that might have been playing a little bit.
I honestly think it just looked like he never played against Hakan before.
I mean, that's most likely the case.
Like, it literally sort of looks like his knowledge stopped where Alex's did. Like, he looked at Hakan, he's like, whoa, this is scary. I don't know what this character's doing.
Isn't that weird, though? Like, I almost don't want to agree with that, though, because, like, for somebody in his position as a commentator at a weekly, you would think that you would know one of his worst matchups, or at least know why it's one of his worst matchups.
All I'm going to say is that Tommy Gunn straight hit him with every single net play special sort of, like, yo, can I get Ultra 1 in this situation? He knew all of those setups. All of them.
He had every trash gimmick on point, and I have to give it to him for sticking to it. At no moment
he didn't stop doing it either. It's not like he did it once. Like, it's not like he was like, wake up Ultra once because I'm desperate. He did like, wake up Ultra because this is going to work, and you're bad.
Straight disrespect.
It was, he knew that, he could tell after the first 2 matches that Crack didn't know.
Like, when the 5th DDT hit, at that point, he's like, oh, I'm on autopilot now. Like, I legit can just fucking set this shit into 40 miles an hour, put the cruise control up, turn on my Mariah Carey CD, and just chill for the rest of the drive home.
He literally dialed it back for Crack and just hit him with everything. Like, I give the guy credit for that. Like, I think the fact that all that shit was working was trash, but he made it work, so good for him.
He didn't second guess himself, and Crack didn't give him a reason to. And I know Crack's gonna want this one back. I know Crack's gonna either want this one back, or he's gonna coach the guy who comes at
hold on. If you were gonna be the next person to step up to Tommy Guns, would you even want that coaching? Like,
I mean.
So apparently Tommy Guns called out Julio and Alex Myers and said that all of California is garbage or something like that.
Everybody in California is garbage or NorCal is garbage except for Ricky Ortiz, Julio, and I think LPN, somebody.
But he called out Julio.
Yeah, but he called out Julio.
No, that was the weird part. Like, he calls out. Now, there is a thread about this where he says, basically, I'm calling out Julio and Alex Myers. I think they're overrated. And Julio responds with an image saying, or with an image that where Tommy Guns is basically saying, I respect Julio and a couple other people in NorCal. They're cool. So basically, he's contradicting himself with his own trolling, which is, honestly, it's nothing off his back because it's not much different than how he pissed off Crackening in the first place. So,
and he was proven right.
Yeah, he was proven right by winning.
There was at least one person who's like, "This will teach you not to talk shit," and I'm like, "No, the person who started talking shit was proved right."
Yeah,
he handled business.
He backed it up, and he won.
This is a dark day.
It's like, look, the dude said y'all ass. Y'all sent your fucking emissary to handle him, and he was sent back on a wooden pike, just through the chest. It's like, have your crack back.
Yeah, it's bad, and we've been talking about sending LPN at him because apparently everybody believes that LPN can beat him, and I mean that's highly likely.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Here's what NorCal needs to do right now. Y'all need to think about this real hard. And then you need to talk to your mans. Whoever you send out there, there needs to be a conversation. Hey, you actually know this matchup.
Yeah, this needs.
Before you leave,
homework.
Let's talk about this a little bit. If you're gonna put an entire region on your back, I represent these. Somebody needs to step in and go, whoa, you need to be certified to do this. Have you taken the test yet?
Right. We can't just send anybody out there. And not that Crack Fiend is anybody. He is definitely not. It's just, holy shit.
I think that's the biggest upset is that for a ton of people, we all thought this was going to be a wash, and it was just going to be a crack sweep, right?
There was a lot of trust put in Crack Fiend by the NorCal community.
Right, and to be fair, he put it all on himself. He was never going out there to defend NorCal from anybody. He was just going out there to stomp somebody. And
but nobody in NorCal was like, yo, Crack.
Yeah, we weren't trying to stop him. In fact, we were betting on him. So, I mean, yeah.
But here's a genuine question. Who among you was like, yeah, you got this shit. I believe in you. You fucking want this money. I got you backed. Maybe you should play Chemo a couple before you leave.
Nobody said anything to him?
Could you ask that guy a couple things?
I think
could you have established a first to five with Chemo and been dial it down to a 4? I need you to play as if you were just up all night on a bender, just drinking fucking Jameson, and then went on a tilt-a-whirl. Hit me with that.
Well, I mean, shit, man. We already know that he cracks against fucking Dudleys, right? So that should have been the indication right there.
I wanted the Dudley pick so much because, to begin with, all the punishes he had with Rog were bad.
Yeah.
It might have been a dash straight, and it's okay, you jumped out of a punch, or you jumped out of a command grab, and you punished it with a punch that leads to nothing else.
Yeah, that was kind of heartbreaking to watch.
Whereas if you would have had Dudley, it would have been I jumped straight up. Well, here's jump roundhouse, stand roundhouse, EX machine gun blow. This is a ton of damage, corner carry, and even if I'm doing baby combos, they still hurt.
Yeah. And Rock can still put damage on you. He can put damage on Hakan regardless. It's just, you have to have the opportunity to do it. So.
And you know what? You're going to somebody's backyard. You're already putting yourself at a disadvantage.
Right, so just bone up for it. I mean, there really was no reason for him not to study that matchup at all. And I'm not assuming that he didn't. Now, here's the thing. We don't know if he went down there completely cold. That's one thing he has not talked about. He has said that afterwards, he was very upfront saying, I got really fucking emotional, and I did not play my best. He apologized to everybody in NorCal. And he says he's actually going to continue to practice and be hungrier. And so, I believe him. Crackfield's not going to quit over this.
Yeah, I totally trust him that he's going to do that. And I can totally believe that his emotions just got the best of him. Because the walk-in for Crack was heated. Yeah. But then the walk-in for
he looked like he straight wanted to punch that dude.
It seriously looked like if those two other dudes weren't walking with Tommy Guns, that would have been a lariat waiting to happen.
No, because Crack was legitimately heated. So that was something that, they were playing that up, and Tommy Guns kind of just came in there and I don't want to say he took the wind out of his sails because, there was the pre-match pop-off, I guess, where basically every four-letter word in the book was used in Tommy Guns' direction. But I feel like that's what kind of put Crack Fiend on tilt even before the match even started because, he said some pretty heavy shit.
He had some hate in his heart. He let it out.
I mean, it just felt like Crack came in with all the bluster, and Tommy Guns was like, "Sir, don't hit me."
Yeah, you know?
Until they started playing.
He's like, I will sue, you know?
I will seek litigation.
I'll hit him with the Walkman.
Yeah, the classic. Before this match, I made sure to invest into a lawyer.
No, you're trash. Don't touch me.
I'll have you know, this bearded fellow that walked in with me, I have him on retainer. He just passed the bar.
Oh my God! So I think he just took himself out of the game even before it even started because he was just like.
I mean, look, I'm gonna just put it out there. It doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't.
Like,
he lost. And
he got just destroyed.
Got ridiculous bop. He did not get Perfect Legend, but man, I just realized Perfect Legend has a whole new meaning to the title now.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see anyone ever get Perfect Legend again. So.
I don't even think that can happen.
No, it can't.
No, it can't. Like,
it literally cannot happen.
That's why it's called getting Perfect Legend. Like,
it's like, yeah, isn't that crazy? Like his name suddenly has like the complete opposite meaning of what it used to.
When your name gets turned into a verb or like
yeah.
They call you a Perfect Legend because you didn't win a match.
He wanted.
I perfect legended that dude. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So, but like you said, he's now challenged Julio, and he's challenged Alex Myers. There's talks about them meeting up at SCR to make this happen. He might make it to another event in California before the end of the year. It might just be, we set something up surrounding this because, here's something that wasn't happening before. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. When this first started coming about, Tommy Guns basically just popped in real quick to say something to somebody who he thought would just, sit there and take it. It's the internet. This shit happens. But instead, a bunch of people jumped down his line, and then like NorCal, the way it works, we're a fucking beehive full of bears, as I described it. And so the bears just started mauling him. They just had a feeding frenzy, and nobody from Texas was there to back him up. For like a month. For a month, Tommy Guns was getting thrown to the Bears of NorCal, and nobody from Texas even showed up to say, hey, leave him alone.
Chris, you couldn't have come up with anything better other than Bears?
I keep thinking of Winnie the Pooh with this description. I
told him that NorCal's like a beehive. He teased the beehive, they come out there and they sting in his ass. Except
that's why I'm picturing Winnie the Pooh, because I'm just picturing him sticking his hand in like a honey.
God.
What a horrible description for a region. It's just like, yeah, man, they're full of killers, dude. Next thing you know, they got their hand in your honey pot.
Oh my God. But anyway, nobody from Texas even showed up. Like maybe one guy came in there and said he was betting on Tommy Guns. And we were just like, okay, cool. You're basically the house for this event whenever it decides to happen. Now that he's won this match with Crack Fiend, SRK X Factor is becoming overfilled with Texas players talking shit to NorCal. I think that they can build an event around this now. It's almost becoming an accidental scene battle, which is awesome. I love that. I think that needs to happen more often. Maybe not with as much hate as what was between Crack Fiend and Tommy Guns, but this dude's calling people out, and he has to play them now because everybody's pissed. And there was people from SoCal that were pissed that Crack Fiend lost. Like UGC Vicious is mad.
Yeah, I would imagine Vicious was mad.
Vicious is not happy. Apparently, Vicious now has to call his firstborn child your worst nightmare because that was his bet. He says if Crack Fiend loses, I'm going to name my child after the response you had to Crack Fiend when he asked who the fuck were you, and his response was your worst nightmare.
He won that bet. He won that because he's never having children. See.
Wow.
Smart man. That's how you make bets.
The man just shutting that down.
So how the joke's on you, I'm celibate.
Man is like, you're done.
The biggest punchline to all of this is Crack got hit with the 7-3, and then Tommy Guns didn't even make top 8.
Well, no, here's the thing. Neither of them are stellar players. They're nothing they're not above average. Or maybe they are above average, and that's about it. They're not like, hey, they're not cream of the crop. There you go.
I don't think Tommy Guns even wants to be good, though. That's the thing. I think Tommy Guns just wants to be good enough to make somebody hate him.
Ooh, that's actually a really good reason why.
Yeah, that's a good reason.
Man.
To get good.
Spite is way better than fucking glory.
But then I ask the real question, if you ain't relevant, why does anybody care?
Because everybody loves a train wreck.
Because you become relevant by being the guy who just is good enough just to beat these other players and talk mad shit. I don't know.
So he's low tier god is what you're talking.
Basically,
anyways,
low tier god was terrible at that shit. Like, we are at a current age where top players are not calling each other out. They have zero opinion on each other. They are complete gentlemen. And there is absolutely nothing interesting happening at that, level of the game. You talk to these guys, they're fucking wooden, basically, right? Down at the mid-level, though, you might get a little more dirty. People are starting to say, hey, this guy doesn't belong here. I belong here. Egos start coming into play. People start having opinions about themselves and others. And then you get down to the level that we were at yesterday, or Saturday, rather, where you're virtually unknown versus a relatively known character, player, right? And these kind of people are always going to have shit to say about each other because there's nothing else to do down there except cut each other's heads off.
So you're saying when you're down in the dirt, all you can do is play in the dirt.
Exactly, right? There's a fucking bucket of crabs, and all you can do is keep another crab from climbing out the bucket.
Take your word.
So I would say that there is something to be said about that. I think there is something very I won't say lucrative because I don't want this to turn into a business venture, obviously.
I mean, it's entertaining.
It's entertaining.
People were entertained.
Like, you combine, first of all, I want to say the PXG production value is phenomenal. Great job. You combine.
That was outstanding.
Yeah, amazing stuff. You combine that with, the kind of stuff that they got out of Crack Fiend versus Tommy Guns, you've got a good show on your hands. The other shit before that, maybe not so much, but those guys are new.
Let's actually talk about that for a moment.
Wow, man. Holy shit.
So they had a couple of other matches lined up prior to the main event, right? Like, there was an undercard with Tommy Guns Crack Fiend being the thing to watch. And, for the most part, they were pretty close matches, right? Like, you had a bunch of exhibitions. There was initially El Cubano Loco versus Integra 5-4, close set. Mm-hmm. Vega Ken, not the most exciting of matchups because, it's Vega. Yeah. Somebody, I think Boy Toy versus Chimera, Chun-Li, Evil Ryu, that was kind of a blowout. Driftwood versus Chaotix, another kind of a blowout, 5-3. Hamad versus Hyper Surge was the one right before Tommy Guns. And this was the most painful shit because it was a Dalsum Ryu. And the Dalsum was winning. So if the Dalsum's winning, you got timeouts, you got slow, bleeding to death finishes, and it was, fuck, I'm here for this shit show. Why are you showing me this calm, calculated play? I do not need this right now.
I just want somebody getting their head knocked off. That's all I want.
Right? Like, if this was displayed to me at, a Buffalo Wild Wings or something, I would have just spilled my beer as an excuse to leave. Like,
exactly. It'd be working the opposite as they advertise.
Look, I don't know who this Tummy Tums character is, but I don't give a shit either. So
Tommy Tums?
No, Tummy Tums.
Tummy Tums.
I don't know who this Zummy Gummy person is, but they can't have my gummy berry juice.
Jesus, man. No, you couple that with the fact that they gave everybody a chance to say something on the mic. Basically cut a promo, which is something I found extremely it's a great opportunity to make something happen. And these guys are just what was the Marvel match was the best? Where they're just like, hey, what do you think of your opponent? He's all right. You think you're going to win? Maybe. What do you think of your keys to victory? Don't fuck up. It's fucking like a bunch of Marshawn Lynch's up in there, This guy's like, what's the key to victory? Beast mode!
I'm not gonna lie.
We talked about this.
Eating a million Skittles before a match is probably a good idea.
We talked about this though. The whole presentation of fighting games, almost as wrestling events or boxing matches, would do a lot to really draw up the entertainment factor and make it more of a spectator sport. But it doesn't necessarily do anything for player skill improving, etc.
No, it doesn't.
It also doesn't help that the majority of players have absolutely no personality.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't say that they have none. I wouldn't say that they have none, but there's so many people that are afraid to put any kind of personality out there for fear of being made to look like a fool.
Yeah, they don't want to end up on R Kappa fucking being like, hey, here's the douche of the week. And I'm like, don't worry about them, man.
It's that's the whole point. You go on there if you think you're going to win. First of all, you're sitting down because you think you're going to win, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't sit down at all.
Right.
So sit down and just immediately put your entire pride and joy and just put that on there and be like, you know what? Why are you gonna win? Because I'm the shit.
Right.
Yeah, I'm fucking nice.
That one guy fucking said it the best. The last Marvel exhibition they had, they asked him, like, what are you here to do? It's like, we gonna kill the bird. So
yeah, that was it. Like, he's gonna fight a phoenix. He's gonna kill the bird.
And I mean, you have to respect that. Like, there's something to be said for people who don't try to hide behind this false modesty because, you've met people who are like, yo, I'm the shit. But they say that only in close friends.
Right.
And it's like out in public, they're like, nah, man, it ain't.
All of a sudden, like, they ain't got nothing to say. All of a sudden, like, these guys are like, I didn't say that shit. Oh, man, I'm okay. I put amongst my circle of friends, like, I'm like, I'm the best. But, like, I step across the street into a Chuck E. Cheese, I'm free as fuck.
See, the problem with those people is that they're going by this mistake, and I call it can't be real syndrome. And the K is with the spelling there at the beginning of the can't. So it's can't with a K. So remember that. So it's just they can't be real. Like,
okay.
My B. quote of the years. I have to say.
Oh my god. There's definitely, while we do know that the whole cutting a promo thing would work wonders for presentation alone would be amazing.
But let's be real, like we can't really train people to do that because but maybe they're not boisterous or they don't feel it.
Not for free, we can't.
I honestly would not make most players do it. If we know someone is legitimately a clown and can put on a decent presentation, or not even have to be a clown, but at least has the confidence to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
Give them a mic.
And it can be self-deprecating. It can be self-deprecating. Yeah. That's the thing. Just say something that is like, provocative, I guess.
Because it's a little unfair to hold some people to being, it's like, all right, you're a good player, but you can't pop off. It's like, well, I mean, he's letting the game speak for him.
Right, and I get that. And here's the thing, like we are obviously kind of used to this because they used to do this a lot in SBO, Togeki. Like in the finals, before the match, they would always they give the mic to everybody, and they would say something. And very obviously, they weren't saying shit that was offensive to anybody. They were saying some funny stuff that made everybody laugh, but nobody ever said, this dude's ass, I'm gonna fuck him up. Nobody ever said that.
Like okay, well, you had some moments, where people did talk shit at SBO. There's a year for KOF where one of the Chinese players, one of the Chinese players goes up and just says, "I'm not gonna lose a character."
I respect that.
And then does that.
I'm okay with that. That is like if you don't have like a boisterous personality and you can't really articulate how good you are in a way that makes people think you're awesome, just say, what's going to happen. Like, just be like, I'm not going to lose a character. This is going to be free. This is going to be me in training mode for the last 3 months where I just, like, do the same combo over and over again into a mix-up. Like, just be completely wooden about it. But just, I don't know. At the same time, though, I don't want to force that on people because obviously if they're not comfortable doing it, then we shouldn't ask them to. Of course, at the same time, if you're not comfortable being on the mic and in front of a camera, maybe you shouldn't be in front of a mic on a camera.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
I want a money match now, and I want to like have an interview before me, and I'm just gonna be. And they're gonna be like, so what are you gonna do? And I'll just be, I'm gonna go out there, Mas Fuerte, and make sure that I give it my all. I think I can do this. I have the ability to do so, but my opponent might be of questionable, question. Oh god, it's too much pressure.
No, you just need somebody to go out there and just
quietly leaning on the mic like too close.
Just like, so how do you feel before this match? Just be like, all of my supporters to raise their hands in the air for my spirit bomb attack. Wow. And just drop the mic right there.
If you believe in me, post Kappa in the chat and
But I mean, I like how you're just dead now. And there are definitely people who are, pretty much not about talking shit at all, and they just want to play the game. Like,
right, and
that's a much different thing in and of itself.
But they're probably not money matching either. That's the thing.
Yeah,
no, they're not. That's how you can tell.
That's the point that I think we need to like look at the most. It's like when you have these sort of exhibition matches, if both players have been known to just talk shit to each other, like this particular instance, like let's just give them both a mic. Something's bound to happen here, right? But if you have somebody going off, and this is just in tournament, someone else is, not about that shit. It's like, stop doing that in tournament.
Yeah.
Like, just let them sit down and play. But
wow,
like,
I don't even.
I was gonna bring up how we're gonna go full circle with the whole pro wrestling, as related to exhibitions and fighting games, where cutting a promo may seem important and you would want to put your best foot forward, but sometimes the vanilla promo is best for business. Fuck, I can't believe I said that out loud.
There's nothing wrong with cutting a babyface promo.
Yeah, like we all remember fucking Sean Waltman circa 1 2 3 Kid. Those promos were vanilla as there's not even a comparison to that. And that is basically what we saw for 90% of these matches at Absolute Battle. Just people talking about I just want to do this for my family, want to go home, see my girl. I mean, I'm kidding, I don't have a girl.
There's a big difference between being a heel on the internet and then cutting a babyface promo.
Now, that is true. Now, here's a part that I was not 100% happy with was Tommy Guns, whereas he was on Facebook, like most tough guys on the internet are, talking a lot of head, making people heated, and then turning around and being like, hey, whoa, why is everybody mad at me? How come NorCal hates me all of a sudden? I'm like, dude, you fucking listen to the things you say to these people, man? Like, come on. They don't even know who you are. Why would they assume that you're joking? Because you are a part of a larger scene? Like, yeah, that's true. Like, we are all a part of the same community in the sense that the fighting game community is one big community, but nobody knows who the fuck you are.
You know what happened is he pulled the classic Texan. So I'm gonna give you a little American history lesson to all you folks out there. Back in the day, Texas became their own sovereign nation, saying, "Fuck you, America. We're gonna be our own people." Little did they know, they fucking failed. They were a shitty country, and they were like, "Hey, America, can we maybe come back?" And we're like, "Sure, kid." And patted him on the back, gave him all of his land, and talked about how everything's so big there, much like their heads and their ideals. But whatever. Fuck you.
What?
I mean, I enjoyed that. It was a good story.
That was a great story, man. That was a great story.
I really just imagine the U.S. patting Texas on the back and giving it a sucker.
Yeah,
you tried.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, we're still the Lone Star State, okay?
Well, the thing was,
it's like, hey, guys, you're still not gonna mess with us, right? Like, right?
It's like, no, we're not gonna mess with you at all. In fact, you don't even have to worry about us talking to you for the next 100 years. But here's the weird part. So he said all that stuff, and then he was questioning why NorCal was mad at him. And when I told him why NorCal was mad at him, he seemed to understand it. And kept talking shit. And then he kept talking shit. And it was like, I mean, at that point, I think I figured he understood what he was in for. I think he knew that he had not so much angered somebody who was, willing to call him out on this shit, but he caught the ire of Crack Fiend, basically. So when he responded to Crack Fiend's promo at Absolute Battle the way he did, which was basically of a man who could not wait for it to be over and go home and had no idea what was about to happen, but he was pretty much already in the fetal position before the match even started. And so to see him win it the way he did, all of a sudden he just came alive. He's like, yeah, fuck NorCal.
Oh boy.
There's even a post on Facebook where he posts a cell phone video of him popping off after the win, and he ends the post saying, "Notice how I said fuck NorCal ×2." Like, what?
Yo, I actually really enjoyed that because it's like he had to come in like he's your editor. Like, now notice here is where I said fuck NorCal twice.
Exactly right.
So you guys know that.
Just so you know that.
Well, now I'll be back at my desk if you need anything.
In case you guys didn't hear it, I don't like you, right? I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, how do you go from interjecting yourself into an argument to ducking a money match for pretty much half a year into talking more shit into not wanting the people you were talking shit to for the last year and a half or half a year just hating you for whatever reason to like, oh my god, dude, I hate this guy.
The moral of the story
I don't hate him. He's cool. It's just fuck.
The moral of the story is fuck Texas, but also fuck California. Stop taking 20% of my paycheck, assholes. Fuck.
I think I just get mad when like people will talk that much shit and they're just like, "Hey man, I didn't mean none of that." I'm like, "What are you talking about? You said it. Like, nobody prompted you to say any of this."
I was speaking in magnitude.
I did it all for hype. I did it all for hype.
All for hype.
That is legitimately always the first excuse of anyone who gets checked. I was just joking. It was all for hype.
Yeah, exactly. That's
really what it is.
That's the perfect legend.
I mean, that man didn't even get to have that excuse because everybody just laughed at his.
Yeah, that's true. Like everybody just kind of shut him down.
Dude, they took the mic away from him. Man.
Yeah, they're like, and that stupid ass hat, get that shit.
Oh god, dude. But he was just like, oh my god, I was hoping that he would be just as obnoxious as he was online as he was in real life, because that's not hard to do. All you have to do is just be a complete idiot, more or less. And if it's for the camera, fine. If it's for hype, fine. Don't say it's for the hype. You never break character, man. Like, who the hell does that? Like, I don't like. Do you think that you telling me that your jackassery was all for the sake of hype is gonna make me think even any better of you? Now I just think you're a jackass for free, and you don't even get paid to do it. You make an ass out of yourself for nothing at all.
Well, I was gonna say he got Crack's money, but I don't even know what they played for.
Yeah, I don't know if
they played for money at all.
Did they even play for money?
So initially they were supposed to play for money, but the guy doing all the mic work said it's for pride. So I don't know.
Yeah, so in a way it doesn't even fucking matter.
No, it does matter.
I mean, it matters if you thought you were gonna win, but
yeah, well, I mean, it does matter if you bet on Crack.
Yeah,
it kind of matters.
There is a guy right now who is just like swimming in gold coins, Scrooge McDuck style.
Oh, he's got some doubloons.
He's got some doubloons, like a whole vault off of this Tommy Guns win, and he also owns the first name of UGC Vicious' firstborn child.
That is Jesus.
I don't know why you would make that bet. That's crazy.
I don't think I'd have the kind of confidence in anyone to make that kind of bet.
Yeah, that's just like no.
That's just a bet. You're not even gonna hold.
Yeah, and that's just gonna hurt you.
Yeah, because then I don't.
That hurts your brand integrity. Like, come 15 years from now, if Vicious has a kid and it's like if his middle name isn't Your Worst Nightmare, I'm just gonna be like,
yeah, like all right, we know what happened here, man.
Yep. It's like
not buying cars from you, man.
It's like, his name's Jeff. What's his middle name? I see it's not either Tommy or Your Worst Nightmare. I'm just very upset now. I cannot speak to your integrity anymore.
Oh my god. So, we are looking forward to Tommy Guns challenging Alex Myers and Julio. Hopefully, that can happen. One of those can hopefully happen at SCR. Apparently, Marcos wants to get back at him because there was another incident where Tommy Guns challenged El Cubano Loco to a money match first 3. El Cubano Loco 3-0'd him or something like that. Basically beat the crap out of him. And then Tommy Guns wanted to run it back first to 5. How you end up running it back for more sets than you originally ran it for is beyond me. I don't know why anybody would agree to that. But
I will say this that was pretty funny about that is how Tommy Guns presented that as his clear win. He initially just said, "Yeah, I beat your boy El Cubano," and then somebody pointed out, "It's like, dude, that was a run back after you lost. All you did was get your money back." Like,
yeah, and you know who it was that pointed out to him. Now, this is the part that really fucked me up. Like, I couldn't stop laughing about this for like 24 hours. The person that pointed that out to him was freaking, oh my god, it's Andre. Like, I was like, where the hell did he come from, man?
He came
Yo,
in
hey,
with
yo, Andre is always around when there's money matches. That man is trustworthy in that regard.
he hit them with like the money mash glasses push up. Like actually,
Actually, you broke even and you're talking shit. You're a scrub, baby. And then,
Yeah.
and then Tommy Guns tells him, "Who are you?" And oh my god.
Jesus.
Oh, dude. So yeah, so that we might see a tiebreaker, if you will, between El Cubano Loco and Tommy Guns, which I mean, I don't know who's gonna win because technically Tommy Guns has his last win in that scoreboard, so the momentum is in his favor.
But if they play, it would be here in Cali, right?
It would be here in Cali because we went down there. We went down there already. It is his turn to come over here or at least meet us in Vegas next year at EVO. Now, if it happens next year in EVO, I expect this to be like its
Okay,
own
anything
salty
planned
sweet.
that far in advance is not happening.
Exactly.
We already know that.
We already
Hold
know
on,
it's not
hold on,
gonna
hold
happen.
on. Isn't there a tournament in Arizona?
Is there?
Hold on. I think there's, it's something that's not the old Arizona tournaments.
Oh, God, devastation, baby.
No, jeez.
I mean, a lot of people were definitely devastated.
But
Let's see. When's this happening? Rewired. 2015. From the ashes of devastation.
Oh no.
yeah, I was like, oh, that doesn't sound.
I don't. They don't actually say that.
The only way.
Yeah,
the only way
November
I like-
14th.
Oh wow. Is there anything else happening in that week?
I don't know.
Next week is Paradise in San Diego.
Oh.
But here's the thing, though, is if he comes to California, it could be a different story because I might have to make a phone call to Luca.
Look,
and
like
get
if
that
you,
man yelled out of the building.
Like if you need the California cheering squad, we are for hire, for cheap. Like, look, I can't yell like I used to before, but I can still clap obnoxiously loud.
I mean, I wasn't there when you played people for money in KOF, but I heard that Steve and Luca made people very sad.
Yeah, like I was sick that day, so I couldn't yell. I actually had like the face mask to make sure I didn't get other people sick because I'm a thoughtful individual, so I couldn't yell. And if I was gonna yell, I was gonna be muffled by that thing. So I went to Luca and Steve, who proceeded to yell my opponent into oblivion. Now, Paul can attest to this. I can clap loudly still. I can still kind of yell, but I've also improved my snap game. Like, I will snap this man into oblivion. Like, this is like 4 feet away from the mic, and I'm sure you hear this shit. Like, listen to the raw power. Like, you ever get hit with a combo where every hit got snapped? Like, yes, give me more of that. That's what that guy is looking forward to in Cali. Like, I don't even give a fuck about these people.
But talking about upcoming events, we have a ton of upcoming events in the next month and a half, basically.
Yeah, there's like a mad dash to end it before 2016 for some reason.
Just a gang of events. So this weekend is the big TSB major in New York with a bunch of people flying in from out of town for that. The following week is SoCal Regionals. The following week after that is CEO Taku. And then we have those 2 events in November. There's probably something even between the end of October, beginning of November.
Holy.
Like, it's just ridiculous.
Dude, like with Paradise coming up too in November, I think, right?
Yep.
Fuck.
Yeah, because Alex was saying that Rewired is the 14th, and then Paradise is the following week.
Wow.
And then NEC is December. And Capcom Cup. Yeah, there's a lot.
When's Capcom Cup?
It's like
First weekend of December, right?
I believe so. And
I think last year it was like what, the 13th?
I think that's right.
Last year it was in January.
Oh, season finale taking place December 6th in San Francisco.
Oh yeah,
Last
I forgot.
Year, if I remember right, it was like the
YumaCon
17th
is
or
Halloween weekend in Detroit.
Holy crap,
Oh,
really?
Yeah. Defend the North is coming up, and I don't know the exact date. But that's, I think, between now and the end of November as well.
That's like a tournament every weekend.
Yeah.
Almost. It's Pretty good.
Oh, and Canada Cup's in there too.
Holy crap! Really?
Actually, I don't think anyone knows when that is because the official website doesn't have it.
Canada Cup is the same weekend as something else, and I don't. Maybe it's the same weekend as Otaku? No,
this is like right. I could have sworn we already had Canada Cup this year.
No, they were gonna have it, but I think it got canceled for some.
They had the special event, right, where it was like the
they had some special event.
Okay. Fuck, dude, like.
So yeah, literally almost through to the end of the year. Almost there is a tournament every weekend.
I mean, that's great for like the viewers at home. You're not gonna be bored at all during the weekends. But for like the players, man, like grab some freaking coffee.
And it's just like so. Pod bonus just got announced for SCR for Air Dash games. I think it's Uniel, Xrd, and BB.
Ooh.
I think.
Yeah,
and I think it's 500 for each. I know some other tournaments are doing different bonuses. Obviously, Capcom Cup quals and tournament premiere events are going on. Like, holy ass!
Yeah, there is very little time to breathe in anything, and that's why I was like, I mean, I'm really excited for Paradise, but I also felt like when they announced it, I realized like, man, this is gonna be sandwiched in between so much stuff.
Yeah.
I hope they have the turnout they expected, so that they can come back next year. Because I really want Larry to be out here on the West Coast at least once a year.
Yeah, I think if nothing else, and this is just personal, if nothing else, it'll at least be a small event that'll maybe get some of LA and San Diego like playing together. So that's at least my my baseline hope.
Man.
All the other stuff I have no idea. I know Defend the North is. It was fairly big last year, if I remember correctly.
They did a pretty good job promoting it with like the amount of players on the East Coast that were kind of hot at the time, and they just put them all on one bill, and it was perfect for them. I don't know if they have that luxury now because it seems like some of those guys are a little inactive. Teams are kind of fractured. Like we just heard that Team Pi lost a member, so they're the ones who run that event, I believe, right? Or is that somebody else? I don't know. But, like, yeah, it's like East Coast is just, it's kind of quiet right now. And that's fine, at least for Street Fighter.
So here's the exact schedule starting in October. Starting with this week is the Tekken 7 West Coast Qualifier happens in SoCal, and TSB happens in New York. Following week is SoCal Regionals. Following week is Dogfight in NorCal and CEO Otaku.
Okay.
Following week after that is Defend the North. Following week after that is Yumacon and Canada Cup. And then we're into November.
Wait, so they're actually running a dogfight on the CEO Otaku day? Like that weekend?
Yeah, apparently. That's when it's scheduled for, at least. It might get moved, but...
I mean, no, they're probably going to do it anyway, but I'm pretty sure that pretty much everybody's going.
I don't know.
At least they've talked about it.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe they're not traveling. Maybe they'll have their own little thing there, but, like, yeah.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of people up in NorCal who can't really travel that well.
That's true, yeah. Not a lot of them are gainfully employed or have the time to do it because they're going to school or whatever, but still, impacted schedule. Crazy. It's not normally like this. Like, I think it was only kind of close to this at the beginning of the year when we tried to fit in every tournament before EVO. Now all of a sudden we're trying to fit one in before the end of the year, which is, that's fine. There's no rush, but hey, why not?
It's honestly getting very hard to choose what to go to.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have the luxury of having SoCal Regionals where you're at, so obviously you get to go to
it's not where I'm at, sir. It's like 45 minutes, an hour plus away.
That is a drive, buddy. But now you have Paradise to think about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, up in here in NorCal, we don't have that at all. It's just NorCal Regionals. And it's in a shitty area. So.
Well, and just think about it this way. Even if we get to the end of the year, once the end of the year hits, Kumite in Tennessee is always around the second to third week in January. Faustings is at the end of January. Apex is around in there somewhere normally. Winter Brawl is in February, and then we're already back at March, which is
the
final round,
basically.
and then Northwest Majors and NCR and.
Oh my god, dude! I'm excited because that means a lot more to watch for myself and the people who enjoy watching these things. But at the same time, I'm also like, oh boy, like, when am I going to find time to just catch all of this stuff happening? Am I even going to care? Of course I'm going to care, but anyway,
I'm glad you answered your own question.
I know, right? Yeah, of course I'm going to care. But let's talk about SCR. I mean, SCR is coming up. Like, I won't be there, unfortunately, because reasons. But yeah. But Via's done a pretty good job, recovering from the confusion that happened earlier this year. So, that's great. That really shows his strength as an organizer and the team behind him. But really, I think this is the last premier event, isn't it? At least in America. Like this is I think this is the last premier Capcom Pro Tour event. So this is the last this is the last ranking event, basically. Where you're going to be able to qualify for a spot on the 16-man bracket at finals. So I'm expecting, competition to be pretty freaking stacked, because there's a lot of people who everybody assumed would have qualified by now that haven't, and there's one guaranteed spot left. This is, even if you don't watch Street Fighter, it's kind of exciting, the idea of it, that there is a wild card position, more or less. So I definitely am looking forward to that, despite not being able to go there. And on top of that, we'll also be able to see more SoCal Guilty Gear action. I think people are traveling from out of town to come to those tournaments.
I've heard. I think some people are coming down from PNW for SoCal regionals. I've heard rumblings that maybe some from Colorado. It's just going to depend, to be honest with you. I don't really know. I'm not playing at SCR because of basically me playing at SCR would involve either driving there both days or getting a hotel room, both of which are mad expensive. And to me, honestly, SCR's registration fee is too high.
Well, let's also talk about the fact that it's impossible to get a hotel room now. Like you can't even.
I mean, that's true too. I didn't even think about it that way, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like you basically had 4 days to do it, and it's all dried up by now. And I'm sure that there's people who have room for people to room with, but obviously you don't want to do that. That is.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a $50 venue fee. I'm sorry.
Wow, really? Holy shit.
Yeah. It's $50 plus $3 processing fee, and then $10 a game.
Holy crap! That's almost as much as that's as much as Evo.
Let's say I wanted to enter and play Gear and Blaze, which are the two games I'm practicing, right? That's $73. That's more than Evo.
Jesus, that is wow. And
so
not to mention the other expenses.
Also, there's zero promise that I would get to meet Arcade Legend Maximilian at this event. Whereas at Evo,
oh my fucking god, really?
$73 to just get a picture of Max and not even a handshake.
Yeah. You said handshake, right?
Yeah, I said handshake.
Okay, good.
What the hell did you think I said? Jesus.
No, just to cut off for a second.
But yes, wow, that is crazy. But yeah, so a lot of people probably want to be able to go to SCR even if they want to. I've seen people asking, hey, has anybody got any extra room for me and another person at Evo, and I think this is the first year at SCR. I mean, sorry, I keep saying Evo, I'm drunk. SCR. This is the first time at SCR where people are actually so hard up for rooms, they're asking a month out if they can crash with somebody. Normally people just show up and there's room and they just kind of go wherever. Especially in NorCal, everybody's kind of cool that way. So,
but I mean, honestly, for me, it just doesn't make any financial sense.
No, it doesn't. If you're somebody who has spent the entire year going to every other event that was on what used to be the Road to Evo, and Evo has ended, and you're kind of done for the year, and all of a sudden you've got this other Road to Evo event, except now it's Road to Capcom Cup, and it's going to have a pretty decent turnout for the game you play, but your budget is shot. You know, you've already done everything. You are in recovery phase now. You know.
Well, and even more to the point is that before these pod bonuses got announced for all these games, it was very likely that for playing some of the games, like you didn't even have a guarantee that you were going to get the money you put into it back.
Whoa.
So think about it this way. Okay? Say you play some of the off the beaten path games, you know, maybe you play like BB and like DFC.
Right.
Some people out here do that. So you're already paying $73. You're probably going to have to get a hotel room. You're going to have to get food.
Yeah.
And with all of that, even if you win, you might be breaking even on the weekend, unless you're packing, unless you're going, like eating like McDonald's every day and packing like 8 people into a room.
I mean, shit, that's true. It's almost like, why even have all these other events when, like, well, people want to play in tournaments regardless of how much it's going to cost and how much they're going to win.
All right, here's the problem, though, is that for EVO, there's a certain expectation of what you're going to get for that amount of money, right?
Right.
You have international play, guaranteed. It's the biggest event of the year in terms of fighting games, just by sheer volume.
Right.
Like, you have all these games, you have all these casuals that you can get, you have a bunch of vendors you can fuck around with, there's people you can meet, there's stuff to do because it's Vegas. Even if Vegas isn't your thing, it is for some people.
Correct.
So there's a lot to attract you to the event that you can almost wash away that cost and say, this is justified because of these number of reasons.
Right.
Whereas for this particular event, it's just like, what am I getting outside of a really expensive tournament to enter?
I don't know, man. I can't tell. There's zero.
Have they mentioned anything about the BYOC yet?
I haven't seen anything about it.
I mean, I assumed that would go without saying, but then again, considering that they did not really...
It doesn't go without saying because they definitely said that BYOC is up in the air. This was a month or so ago.
Really?
That's why I'm asking. I don't know if they're running whether or not
they're running a ton of games. I will say that they are running a ton. So they might have a tight schedule, so they might not even have the space or the time to run a BYOC. Actually, glazing through their site real quickly, I don't see a single mention of it.
I mean, that is a great perk for people who want to obviously, play money matches, play casuals and whatnot, but it's not necessarily integral to the tournament experience. So I think VIA might be smart to just kind of let that go anyway. But at the same time, it's also like, you're paying $73 to be here, and you got shit to do after you get eliminated.
Well, and that's true, but even more so, we were talking around EVO registration time about how the price of EVO is going up, and people are not happy about it.
Exactly.
It's not like we're just singling out SCR here.
No.
But Alex's point was that there is more value added in Vegas to the average player than Ontario fucking California.
Yeah, just a quick reminder or an explanation for people that aren't from California. That's a shit zone. Like, that's not a place you go to for fun. Like, there are shitty places and shitty drives that are just like, you know what? I'm going to spend an hour and 40 minutes to drive to fucking stupid-ass Santa Monica Pier because there might be something neat to look at. Cool, you're by the beach. Hey, what am I doing this weekend? Paul, let's go fucking drinking in Ontario because it's an hour 30, it's the desert, and there's maybe old people and a jewelry store.
Oh, man, we're going to Riverside, too?
Damn.
No.
Riverside's sick. I'm okay with that.
Like, you might as well hold this fucking event in Lancaster, and we could at least have an excuse to visit Gibby.
Woo. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
That is... I mean... We all know that VIA did what he could with the time and resources that he had following the debacle that was SCR at the beginning of the year. So I guess in a way we should be happy this is happening at all, or I guess he should be happy this is happening at all because Capcom will be up his ass otherwise. But at the same time, I mean,
I think
I already said that for Street Fighter players,
this is the place to be.
Yeah, there's still a great reason to go to SCR. I've heard that. I think it's a Foxy Grandpa is actually coming to SCR. So MK, I guess, is going to be popping too. But for Air Dash players, as somebody who plays Air Dashers, I don't fucking see it.
Yeah.
You know, I think
especially with CEO Otaku later this month.
Yeah, there's not a big draw for this.
Yeah, I feel like you would want to save your money for that. And here's the great part about Larry not even releasing like a trailer for Paradise yet. He can just watch what happens at SCR and be like, this is what we're going to do right as opposed to what they did here. You know? He's got a whole month to do that.
I mean, I signed up for Paradise even not really knowing if I was going to go because signing up for Paradise was like
relatively cheap.
$30.
Yeah.
It was like $30.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. Like that's actually a reasonable thing.
You know what my biggest concern is that let's say all right, well, we've already established Vaya did what he could to get this particular venue, right? And if, he got a convention center and it's expensive and he wants to allocate the reason that it's expensive to the fact that it's at the convention center, fine. It's not for me. I probably won't enter any games because it's just not cost effective for me, right? I might just go spend $10 for a spectator badge, dick around Saturday, leave.
Right.
My biggest fear is that this is going to start to be the standard where, it's going to notice it's like, oh, you guys are willing to pay this?
That is the scary part. That is the part I'm worried about. And as you guys are going to pay this, why should I ever lower it again?
Yeah, it's like, what if we start getting local events like this where it's like, oh, here's another, SCR prelude if we're going to do this entire model all over again.
Well, that kind of goes into my next point, is where he actually unveiled the venue for the new Wednesday night fights. And it's at a swank-ass esports venue in Irvine or Orange County. It doesn't look cheap at all. It looks like this is going to cost somebody a lot of money every week to keep it going.
It's in Santa Ana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say this. I'm reserving any kind of judgment on WNF until more is known about it because, I mean, to my mind, it probably won't even have Guilty Gear in it. So I'm not going to ever be there.
Right.
Well, actually, they've already released a preliminary schedule, and there are anime games at whatever Wednesday night fights thing they're going to have. Or they want to run it already.
So they're going to try to run 5 games in a night, basically.
That's what it seems like.
No. Moving on.
Well, I mean, it could be worse. We could have, such amazing selection of games such as Street Fighter 4, Smash Brothers, Hearthstone, League of Legends. But I digress. I don't know.
Well, he said that it's starting out with Street Fighter 4 and MKX, which, makes sense for the brand of Level Up because they want to, those are 2 games that they promoted heavily.
Well, and it makes sense, too, because, again, this is Wednesday night fights. This isn't Wednesday daytime fights.
Right.
I mean, we all know how late that shit ran when they were only trying to do, like, at max 3 games a night. 3 in the morning. Like,
right, and
9 p.m. start times.
Oh, well, now they're going to have time and space to do this in a lot more efficient, in a lot more efficient system with a better venue.
Definitely true.
But the problem, like I said, is entry on that thing. We don't know how much it's going to cost for the players, or if it's even going to be free for spectators to come there every week. But we can assume that it's not going to be something like $5.
Also, let's say they have the venue and they have the equipment to run it, right? Let's actually point out something really important for running tournaments. Somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing with a set of brackets.
Please.
Wednesday Night Fights originally, and Wednesday Night Fizzites.
Oh boy.
Was blessed to have our boys, Wild Wallace, and Capwan running shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a tight ship, and shit somehow managed to finish. On time, if not early at some events. Seeing who they have potentially, if it's not those guys, I'm a little concerned. If we're going to keep these late start times, there's no way that I can make these sort of events in the middle of the week.
Well,
where it's like, we're starting at 9, we have maybe 20 people, we have maybe a couple setups because you're playing a niche game, and this shit's ending at 3 a.m.
Oh my god. And you got to work at, 8?
Whew. Yeah.
I would say, with the amount of time that SoCal has been inactive as far as a weekly tournament goes, Capwan might not be in the picture. I mean, we could ask him obviously, and he probably would be, open to doing it. But who knows how his life has changed? And I say this because a lot of people might say, "Why does it matter if Capwan's doing it?" I don't think people realize how good he is at doing this.
And how many games he used to juggle there.
Yeah, that is the fucking man. Sure, I beat his ass for free in every game we play, but he runs it well.
Wow, you
just
leave Aaron
had to get it in there.
Get it in there real quick. Just gotta get it in there.
Look, Chris,
that man's a saint.
Had to stick it in there. Yeah, you like that?
All right.
Yeah.
Chris, when you can run brackets as well as fucking Cap1 can, you can talk shit. All right, until then, you can shut the fuck up. Leave Aaron alone.
Oh man.
But I think the big key thing is, okay, Wednesday Night Fights is coming back.
Right.
Super Arcade is coming back.
Yeah.
And UCI is also going to be running tournaments. We are going to actually be at a point where people are going to be able to pick and choose based on what's convenient for them or what's cost efficient for them.
And that's rad.
What's being supported is also a big thing here because, as we said with Alex Valle's venue, is if you're not NRS or Capcom, you might as well not even show up.
Well, we don't know yet. That's what I prefer to say.
They're going to accommodate anime games. Who knows what kind of turnout they're going to have?
I think they'd be foolish not to. So I won't say that he's not.
It might work out for them, and I wish them the best. But if it turns out that Wednesday Night Fights is the place for Street Fighter players and dragon tattoos, then fuck it, so be it. That's your place to go.
Yeah. But we also know for sure that Watts at the new Super Arcade location is going to accommodate pretty much everything he can. It's going to be a bigger venue. It's going to have pretty much all the same equipment that we were used to playing with at Wednesday Night Fights, other than the level up equipment, which is just consoles and a monitor, so who gives a damn? And we're going to have the atmosphere back, more or less. It's going to be a different experience.
I know you say he's going to support every game, but I'm sure that he won't support 3-Card Monty or CeeLo or any other competitive games of those natures.
Tony. First of all, I'm going to have to ask you to retract that statement because he won't support that officially. Now, if you want to meet me in the Target parking lot after 2 a.m.
Target's just instigating all this gambling, okay? They have such high prices compared to other stores. I need this money.
You bring your cardboard. I got the bones. We're going to throw some dice.
Find the pretty lady. Where's she at? Oh, sorry, mister. You missed out.
Hey, Snake Eyes.
I just imagine Walkman as like this shady 3-Card Monty guy on a boardwalk somewhere.
Just find the red card. It's like totally not hard.
And I'm excited for Super Arcade to come back because I know Watts has tried his best to get this thing up and running, and there's been a lot of controversy and a lot of drama surrounding it, so people will be somewhat at ease when it finally does get up and running again, and he can get out those backer rewards to people, and everybody can stop complaining about who's ripping who off. And we get to see Mondo back on streaming duty, which is something that SoCal has been lacking severely since his absence. But at the same time. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's just that all these things are good for the local SoCal scene, and they'll be great for stream viewership as well in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it all comes down to money again.
Right, it does. And the problem here is that some people have been bringing it up that hey, Watts wants to run events on Wednesday, and obviously Wednesday Night Fights has been on Wednesday since the day before forever. At the same time, it's a weird situation, and I think it's weird because some people will say that, well, Valle obviously owned the rights to Wednesday Night Fights, which does not mean time slot at all. But the thing is, Wednesday Night Fights didn't really blow up until it came to Super Arcade. So Super Arcade was the one doing, the door opening and the hoofing for, 2 or 3 years? That's as much their day as it is, Level Up's. So I don't see why they both can't run Wednesday events, especially if they're running different games, if they are. And they're offering 2 different kinds of experiences. They're offering 2 different atmospheres. They're offering, a more cozy atmosphere versus a more professional atmosphere. I think they both can coexist. And like we've been saying, I think there won't be a split in the scene. I think people will just start going where they feel that they're more appreciated, where they feel like they can have more fun, where they feel like their dollar's going to go further. And the best part about this, which is something that I learned as a guy playing in arcades in NorCal for the last 32 years, is that new people pop up when there's places that aren't flooded with, like, you know, tons of people. Like, if there's one arcade in the area, you're just going to see, like, maybe a handful of people there, maybe get some new guys every now and then, one or two. But for the most part, a lot of people are going to be a little intimidated to go there, or they're just going to think, like, I'm never even going to get a chance to play because there's a 30-man line for the one cab they have of the game I like. Now there's, like, you know, 3 places where I can play this game, potentially.
The issue with that is it's very likely going to split the community. Where they go, where they play. All
hey, if they want to split, fine. Like, you know, no, it was going to happen either way.
No, it wasn't.
Well, Via was going to do Wednesday Night Fights
one
again.
venue. No, yeah, that's true. But I'm saying if there's just one venue, people will go
No,
there.
yeah, if it's one venue, then obviously there won't be any chance of it splitting. But at the same time, I don't think splitting is a bad thing. I don't think if people having an option to go somewhere versus having to go further to another place is a bad thing, you know?
So, what if, we just had, Wednesday night fights and Wednesday night fizzites or whatever. We just let that rock and then just have a UCI monthly on some weekend where everyone can come together and show what they've learned.
Well, actually, UCI's monthlies are on the weekend, which is...
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, everyone can make the effort to go out to there and, essentially face each other in a larger group.
They can have an official team battle.
Yeah.
I think that would be very exciting.
One guys can wear red, the other guys can wear blue, so we can differentiate the two.
No, bad idea.
Oh, right.
I've seen this film before.
Look, Tony, I couldn't see the blood moon last night because of where I live. I do not want that happening.
We don't want to get sued by Rooster Teeth. All I'm saying, Tony, is you don't want to get sued by Rooster Teeth. They own the red versus blue thing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But no, that is something that I argued for. I'm like, back in the day when we had a bunch of arcades here in the college scene, especially in NorCal, everybody had their own team of players that were known across NorCal. And every year we would have this thing called University Battle, where we would all come together at UC Berkeley at the Barricade, and every college that had a squad would just go at it in a round robin. SF State never won, but we had some ringers, so at least we we weren't completely trash. But it was fun. It was a cool idea. I've always missed something like that happening. I'm not saying that this automatically will turn into that because there's, business involved, you could say. There are people that, expect certain things on the back end, and so they may not be so willing to come together with something like that. But the players can totally set this up, The players can totally communicate amongst each other and coordinate teams or, just coordinate a mutual event at UGC or UCI if UCI is doing it. So I think it's good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It gives me great reasons to visit SoCal for playing rather than just drinking. Because that's pretty much all I had.
It'll be good in terms of the fact that while maybe it splits the community, maybe it also allows certain players who normally don't get to come out to go to events because normally it's maybe too far for them. So like the fact that, obviously we'll have Super and then Esports Arena, they are pretty far away from each other, so maybe you'll get people from those regions who normally couldn't make it to one or the other.
Right.
Out at events.
Shoot, you might get guys in Azusa who just never even have been to an arcade but play and now have a place to compete because they weren't mobile before. This is how new players are discovered all the time.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. And obviously UGC is still running events, so they'll be around. It could be, honestly, the best possible result is that everybody survives, everybody has good turnouts, and everybody's happy.
Right.
Now, we all know that doesn't normally work out that way, but we can hope, right?
Yeah, we can hope. That's pretty much all we can do at this point. There's no guarantee that the numbers will be substantial for everybody. Now, here's the problem with that. There was never a definite possibility that even if they weren't running events on the same day, that the numbers would turn over right. Like Valle could run Street Fighter 4 on Wednesday, and then Watts could run it on Friday or Saturday. There's no guarantee that he's getting all those guys from Wednesday to come out on Friday or Saturday. He might even get 30%, because they're just like, I already went to one event this week. I'm fucking done for the week. And that's most likely what happens. Like, it's not so convenient anymore where people are just like, oh, I don't mind spending 3 days not doing anything, going to an event, another 3 days not doing anything, going to another event even further. Like, yeah, it was gonna be split regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I guess we shall see.
I don't think this helps out anything in the long run.
Well, who gives up? Who do you think should give up first then?
It's not a matter of giving up. Like, if somehow everyone can work together, that'll be cool. The one positive thing about this right now is the Wednesday Night Fights thing is a trial run for, I believe, 1 month or 6 weeks, whatever the hell their season is. So we'll see how that goes. Because the issue is, if they all hold, say, Street Fighter the same night, fuck's gonna happen there? Everyone's used to playing Street Fighter on a Wednesday because apparently that's what they've been conditioned to do.
Right.
So if you end up, just like you said earlier, if you end up doing it on, say, Wednesday Night Fights does it Wednesday, Super does it Thursday, very good chance you won't have everyone going to both. Yeah, you'll have a lower turnout the following day.
Right, and you're always going to have that no matter how you space it out.
Yeah, that's the issue. Like, having multiple venues is nice, but in order to have everything work out and grow, it's better to have one centralized location that everyone goes to. With Super being gone for as long as it has, it's almost been a full year now. There's been nothing there. Like UGC, so you have basically it's UGC and UCI right now, and those are on basically completely opposite ends of LA and OC for the most part. So you have some people like, look how low the turnout is at UGC. Like, no one wants to go there. I hear UCI is doing fairly well, but then you have a bunch of people in LA right now that aren't going anywhere, just because UCI is too far, and they don't want to deal with going to UGC. So then you add Wednesday Night Fights to the mix. What's that going to do to the UCI turnout? Because it's right by UCI. It's like, what, I think a 5-minute drive from UCI? So does UCI hold events on Wednesdays?
No, Tuesdays.
No, it's just going to be on Sundays.
Sundays?
They hold weeklies on Tuesdays, and then they're...
But that's just a hookup. That's not a tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it's just Super and friggin' Wednesday Night Fights. That's going to be fun.
Well, I mean, I agree. It would be nicer if people could work together. Like, obviously, when it was Level Up working at Super Arcade, that was the most healthy of situations. But at the same time, the reality is we don't have that anymore. Like, I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this shit, but I don't want to leave the scene to fight it by.
I mean, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go. What I do want to talk about before we get out of here, though, was the Midwest Xrd lobby last weekend, which was actually really well done and had some really good matches from all those guys out there. So, as somebody who is from the Midwest originally myself, it was nice to see them get spotlighted and not have the problems that we had out here on the West Coast with California PNW lobby. Yikes. That did not go well. But this went really well. It was a lot of good matches, too. I don't know, any of you guys watch that?
I caught some of the matches are really good. Like, Black Snake's always a favorite to watch, so having him go up against other strong players is always a treat.
It's cool to see a bunch of people. I've never actually seen Bloodwolf play before, but he's actually a really, really good May player. I mean, he was coming up against some of the best in the Midwest, so didn't, maybe do as well as I'm sure he would have hoped to do, but it was really good matches all along.
Man. I missed all of that because I was too busy waiting for Tommy Guns versus Crack Fiend.
See,
Wow.
you're a dumbass.
I had what was gonna happen. Like
the rest of us just literally were sitting by Twitter, going, "All right, we're just gonna watch this Midwest lobby," and eventually somebody on Twitter will say that the shit show's about to start.
And I had the shit show muted, and I was just watching the Guilty Gear stream.
Oh man, yeah, I was at work, so I didn't know if I had the attention span to just multitask like that. But
I was just looking at Twitter, man, because I didn't even have Absolute Battle up at all. But as soon as it was about to start, I had 2 or 3 people on my Twitter feed just saying it was about to start, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Well, yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah,
but I was hearing good things about it though. I heard there was a sick May.
Yeah,
that was Blood Wolf.
Okay, so Blood Wolf doing his thing. I think I lost to that guy at Evo. Shit.
From India, actually, which is really interesting because Indianapolis hasn't had a very large scene in the last few years that I have known about. So it's really cool to see somebody from a region that's pretty underrepresented step up.
Yeah, and that's really cool because that kind of just brings to light, how many more people are playing the game you like, and you kind of want to capitalize on that, I guess. Like you kind of want to go out there and say, who else out here is playing at this level?
Yeah,
was this the only guy that could show up? It's really eye opening. So seeing somebody like that is really cool to happen. I wish NorCal had. Actually, no. I'll talk about that after this before we close out.
And then of course we had KB Nova, Bedman. There, obviously outside of GC Yoshi, you don't really get to see a lot of Bedman in the U.S. There are good players, don't get me wrong, but you just don't see them a lot on streams, unless it's occasionally majors. You'll catch one, but so it was good to see a lot of that character.
Yeah, we don't really. I mean, it used to be at the beginning of this game, nobody knew how to fight Bedman, but now I guess we're seeing a couple more, and it seems a little more doable.
There's still definitely, I think, he's still underplayed enough that people are still taken by surprise.
Well, yeah, there's that X factor where you just don't know what's going to happen, and then something catches you off guard, and you're just like, I didn't know he could do that, or I forgot he could do that, because it's so unlike every other character in the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully we'll find a way to get some more events like this going on. I don't know if NorCal's going to try to do that again, like what Midwest did. I know that we're doing lobbies all the time, but I don't know if we're trying to stream them like that.
This is sort of, from what I know, this has sort of been just an arrangement with the Japanese because they've been wanting
just
to
watch,
see,
right?
Yeah, to see U.S. play. There has been talk about doing some of the regions that have not been shown yet, like one for the South, but that will be up to whether the Japanese want to.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's any kind of movement on that happening, or if that's just something that certain players would like to see.
I mean, they should just do it anyway. Honestly, it couldn't hurt. Get your scene out there. It's kind of cool that we actually can do that with Guilty Gear now, where we don't even have to we can kind of just make the noise ourselves instead of waiting for people to catch wind of what we're doing and then say, hey, you checked this place out yet?
Yeah, it is really weird actually to me. Finally have it where people can net play and sort of get some things out of it, even if net play is the best thing you can.
Yeah, it's better than nothing, and it's good enough that people can kind of gauge what's going on there, and they don't feel like they're watching just molasses.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we close out, I wanted to also bring up, I don't know if I brought it up last week, but I wanted to remind everybody that Dave & Buster's is coming to the Bay Area, proper San Francisco area. We're getting one in Daly City, Serramonte area. I don't know if it's going to be open by next year or the end of next year or perhaps 2017, but it's coming. It'll be part of the Serramonte Shopping Center. And
this guy says proper. The Dave & Buster's that we have now is a good 20 minutes away from my house.
Man, you live in the fucking sticks. I wouldn't even call that the Bay Area.
Live in the fucking sticks? Are you kidding me?
I call that the
I live in the fucking
area.
sticks.
The whack area.
Here, like close to Levi Stadium, at least closer than you are.
Yo, oh, you live near Levi Stadium. We should burn you with the stadium. Jesus.
I actually live across.
You are the pox.
So
that is a pox upon the Niners.
Are you closer to Oakland, or are you closer?
Okay, so Oakland Coliseum is probably closer than Levi Stadium, but they're both about the same.
Hang your head in shame.
You gotta go see the A's sometime.
Really?
I mean, don't the Raiders have a better record than the Niners at this point?
Oh boy, it's only been 3 games.
But the reaction was worth it.
But the three games, especially this last game, the Niners, not so much as a whole, their quarterback threw for what, 60 yards or some shit? Didn't even touch the ball for the most part because, trash cans can't hold balls.
We can only
I mean, you can throw the ball in a trash can.
He saw a red jersey and he threw it to it, okay?
See, this is the problem with him. He is a good quarterback for the other team to have when they're playing defense. Like, he's a good defensive quarterback, if that makes sense, right?
Is he like, shooting, like, throwing, like, Shaq free throw passes, like, crossing his eyes and just fucking throws the ball?
Dude, by the fourth pick, I was like, he's actually improved his record.
So, Chris.
4 touchdowns in one game, baby.
Chris, what do you think the Niners will end at this year now?
I still think 8-8. I still think 8-8 is doable because the NFC is fucking trash this year.
See, I'd I've been joking around about the Raiders winning it all. Obviously, I would like that, but I'll say Raiders will go 6-10.
Wow. I thought you were gonna say wild card playoff.
I would like to say realistically, right?
Wild card playoff and get knocked out in, like, the first round or whatever.
If we go 8-8, we could get the wild card.
Yeah. Screw realistically. You want what I want? Okay, wild card, playoffs, destroy the goddamn Broncos in the friggin' title game, and then go into the Super Bowl and win.
What kind of crack fantasy are you on, man?
See, there you go. That's why I say realistic. Goddamn.
Realistically, they could go 6-10, and that could be a winning season for them.
It is a winning season. Hold on. Before we close out, let's see. Raiders win-loss past 15 years. Let's see when the last time they won 10 games was, yeah?
Oh or no, 6 games. I think that was in the 90s, man.
No. They made it to the Super Bowl 13 years ago or some shit like that.
No, 2002? Nah.
Holy shit, last time. Okay, hold on. Here you go. 2011 and 2010, they went 8-8.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I really don't remember that, but all right.
I mean,
they went to the Super
they're not
Bowl
the Browns.
in 2002.
They're not the Browns. They're not the...
Just remember, Chris, right there, right now you're sitting next to St. Louis with the same record,
Dude,
so that's not a good place to be.
The NFC West is tied for, who's getting flushed first. It's just Arizona up at the top, acting like they're not trash, and the rest of us sitting.
Arizona's like, hey, we actually know how to play American football, and everybody else is nope.
For once, they are like, we're confident. And they do this every year. I'm not even gonna front. They do this every year where they come out super strong, and everybody's like, oh yeah, baby, this is the year that we go back to the Super Bowl and blow it.
Yeah, well, people of Arizona forget that they were once the St. Louis Cardinals. They didn't win shit there either. So.
Thank you. They just can't win. The Cardinals cannot win a title game. Sorry, it's never going to happen.
Unless it's baseball. You're playing the wrong sport.
Oh, my God.
All right, anybody got anything else? We are at the IR.
We might have an announcement for the show coming up in the next couple weeks. We're debating on it.
That's true.
We'll let you guys know.
Could be big news for Desperation Radio.
Yeah.
I mean, big news for us, little news elsewhere, but
I mean, it's big news for us. You guys aren't going to care, but we're rather jazzed about it.
So not to really spoil anything, what we're hinting at is that Tony and I are finally going to have a knife fight.
Wow.
First one to get their throat slashed loses.
There literally can only be one.
Yeah, they'll keep all rights to the voice.
Oh, you guys are finally just going to Highlander it?
You don't understand. I can move my shoulders up so high you won't even see it, Nick. You're fucked.
I gotta stab through your chest.
You gotta go straight through like all chin bone if you even want to fucking like touch this neck. Okay, like
Damn, man.
I'm good.
This guy's Brock Lesnar over here.
All right. I guess that sums it up for this week's episode. Thanks everybody for listening. So from everyone here at Super Desperation Radio, good night and good luck.